I struggled with titling this video, and I'll tell you why in a second. But first, let's hear Kate Martin talk about A'ja Wilson, her teammate on the Las Vegas Aces.
Yeah, I mean, all my teammates have been in the league for, a very long time. I'm sitting next to the best player in the world. And not only is she the best player in the world, she's the best leader I've ever been around. So when you asked that question earlier about her leadership or whoever it was on Zoom, she brings people together, and she has so much confidence in every single person on our team, and that just builds up our locker room so much. For the best player in the world to tell me to keep shooting it and stay aggressive, I feel like on top of the world. So it's just really cool that I have vets like that are going to support me, and they respect me too. And we have a lot of fun as well, and I don't think it's like that everywhere. And so I feel really grateful to be a part of a team, an organization that brings up their rookies, and they like to mess with me, but it's fun. They're not messing with you. Yeah, right.
And Kate Martin has obviously been a great fit in Las Vegas with the Aces. And the thing about this is, it's a Kate Martin and A'ja Wilson story, right? That's the crux of this story. It's Kate Martin praising her teammate, A'ja Wilson. But the reason those quotes have become noticed is because there are those who would take the quotes and say, wait, isn't Kate Martin Caitlin Clark's bestie? Why would she say that A'ja Wilson is the best leader she's ever played with? Is this scandalous? Oh, the Caitlin Clark fans are going to be mad, which I don't really think is the case at all. But if I'm telling you the truth, if I put Caitlin Clark's name in the title of a video, it does better. I was wondering whether or not it fit this video, but I ultimately decided it did, because I think the story is the reaction to these quotes and how they relate to Caitlin Clark. But first, let's talk about A'ja Wilson again, because A'ja Wilson is the best player in the world. You could make the argument that A'ja Wilson is the best player in the world, male or female, relatively speaking, like impact on their respective league. A'ja in that loss, 31 points, 8 boards, 6 blocks, 5 assists. She moves smoother on the floor than almost anyone I've ever seen. Just the way she gets up and down the floor. Her jump shot is buttery soft, is the way I put it. She finishes beautifully. She plays defense. She can move. She can do everything out on the court. She's a truly dominant force. And you could make the argument, I think, that she is the best player in the world, man or woman, relative to the competition. And so for Kate Martin to acknowledge that, who cares? That's the truth. And for Kate Martin to call her the best leader, she probably is the best leader Kate Martin has been around. Kate Martin has fit into that team beautifully because she's a role player, right? She had 13 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, but she doesn't need the ball to be effective. She can play off of others. She was 3 of 3 from 3, as the Aces have hit a little bump in the road, losing a couple of games in a row here. But Martin has fit in seamlessly because she is that kind of player. She is that glue kind of player, the kind of personality that anybody wants to be around. And for Martin to call A'ja Wilson a leader is really no big deal. We should expect A'ja Wilson to be a leader. As far as the Caitlin Clark aspect of it, I found this. Well, in an interview back in the day with the Big Ten Network, Caitlin Clark said her best friend, Kate Martin, was the best leader and teammate she'd ever had. So maybe this is not some sort of scandal. Maybe, I don't remember Caitlin being praised as a leader. In all not to say she's a bad leader, not to say she's a negative influence in that way. That's not what I mean at all. But when people list off the reasons they love her and are following her, it's not like leadership is the first one that comes up. They love to watch her play. They love the way she conducts herself, blah, 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 the way she passes, the way she shoots, all these things. But I haven't heard it be like, oh, she's the best leader you've ever seen, right? And there are plenty of players where that's been the case, where they've been all-time great players and not necessarily were considered all-time great. I'd even go to Michael Jordan. I don't remember Michael Jordan being praised as this leader following his career. He was a killer. That's the way Michael Jordan has always been portrayed, as a killer. And Caitlin Clark is a killer. She's cold-blooded. She's clutch. She's not afraid of those clutch moments. So I really don't see this as a diss at all. And not to say CC can't become a better leader or isn't a good leader or won't, grow in the role as a leader. I think all those things are true. But I don't think it's a controversial statement for Kate Martin to say that about A'ja Wilson, who, by the way, is more experienced, is more accomplished, is everything you would want from a basketball player right now. She reached 4,000 career points in that last game. Third fastest player in WNBA history to hit that mark, behind Diana Taurasi and Breanna Stewart. But it feels like A'ja is only getting better right now. She's only growing and becoming more dominant. And she does everything out there on the floor. Everything out there on the floor. And it's been a seamless fit for Kate Martin, who, I think people are probably a little genuinely surprised how much PT she's gotten, and starting in a spot start. I mean, that's a lot of faith from Becky Hammon, the coach of the Aces, in Kate Martin's game. But, for the Iowa fans out there, I think there are probably plenty of Iowa fans who are like, yeah, it wasn't a one-player team. We had one dynamic, special individual talent that obviously captured everybody's imagination, but it was a really good team, and Kate Martin was a big part of it. Because I did notice when I first started covering this story how many fans were rooting and pulling for Kate Martin. I even got sent notes when she made the Vegas team. But she can hoop. I mean, she was in there and filled up the entire stat sheet in that game in her start. So she's got a long career ahead of her, and she wound up in a fortunate situation because she gets to play with what is really a super team in the Las Vegas Aces next to a superstar in A'ja Wilson. So going back to the title of this video, I saw the reaction to it, and people are framing it like Kate Martin says this despite being Caitlin Clark's best friend. But really, this is a story about Kate Martin in her young Vegas Aces and WNBA career, and a story about A'ja Wilson, who is dominant and undeniable. Like, you cannot watch A'ja Wilson play back. She doesn't have to be your favorite to watch. You don't have to go out of your way to watch her. I'm not doing one of those PSAs. I'm just saying, if you do watch her, you can't come away saying she isn't a great player, because at that point, you're just telling lies. And I think you'd have to know you were telling lies.